Hello Internet, this is Kawa. Welcome back to Exploring the ASCII Dungeon, where we're going to be exploring various roguelikes and their non-graphical implementations. Today we're playing Brogue. This is the intro screen to Brogue, which as you notice has a lot of background colors in many palettes that are shifting into each other, and you are supposed to understand that members of a palette are representing the same thing. So we have a blue set on the top and a red-orange set on the bottom. This is going to be a theme throughout this game, where Brogue willfully says it's not about single colors representing single members of a class. It is a range of colors can represent the same item in a class, and as well as extensive use of background color. We're going to be seeing this a lot, so keep watching for it. Let's start a new game. So here is the UI as we see it. We have a sidebar here of listing everything we can see, including ourselves, which is the @ sign as always. Health and nutrition bars, which have this gradient effect going. Our current strength and armor, which are the only stats in Brogue. The dungeon exit, which is represented by this capital Omega. We have these symbols representing dense foliage. We're always told what depth we're in, as well as some basic commands. Auto explore, rest, search, menu, and the inventory. We already noticed that, first off, as I said before, extensive use of background. So instead of the classic gray hash mark representing walls, we now have these black hashtags, black hash marks with different colors, all representing the same stone walls. So some are white, some are pink, some are gray. It gets darker as we go further and further away from the light that we have here. And even the main ground itself is white with this blue purple background of different colors, lighter as we get closer to the patch of sunlight here in the over here. We also see over here grass-like fungus represented by quotation marks, which I have seen in other roguelikes before. I believe Adam also uses quotation marks for herbs on the ground type of thing. But yes, but they're different shades of green, but all representing grass-like fungus. So this one's darker than that one, and so on. Brogue extensively is mouse. You can go entirely keyboard on Brogue, but you're also encouraged to use the mouse, which is why we have this yellow trail following me around everywhere. I do use the mouse a lot in order to show you things that I can see and highlight things. We have a message buffer, much like Crawl. Colors so far are white, yellow, and purple. And that color scheme of white, yellow, and then this blue-purple is going to be extensive throughout the UI of Brogue. Anyway, let's keep exploring. Here's a rat. The one exception of the multiple colors to represent the same item is the monsters, as far as I can tell. I haven't played Brogue that much, I admit, but as far as I could tell, every rat is a gray R, or every regular goblin is a different color G, etc. So anyway, let's go kill this rat. This area happens to be cloaked in shadows. This one is not. So we have these areas of light and dark, and they're very much influencing how much we can see, as well as the color scheme itself. We're now a darker @ sign than usual, as opposed to, say, here. No, here, where now we're white. And as opposed to, blood splatters just like Crawl, represented by turning the dots of the ground dark red shades, but now multiple red shades. These actually look more orange than the classic pure red. These are areas with water. I know that because of the blue and lavender tones running throughout. The tildes represent deeper water where I could be swept away by currents. This is very common in Brogue, these large underground lakes and rivers, as you can see. So, let's keep moving though. We have sort of, I guess you could say, flavor messages on the bottom as opposed to more utility messages on the top. So here we have things like, you see a rat, you killed a rat, and on the bottom we have things like the grass-like fungus crunches underfoot. Minor differences, but worth noting. We can pass through doors automatically. Brogue streamlines a lot of things that we're used to having to do as a separate action in other games, like opening doors or entering or leaving areas. Actually takes the Dungeons of Dreadmore style viewpoint of you step on the floor tile for the stairs and you automatically go up and down them, which is kind of an interesting and different choice. Anyway, we're now up here. Okay. These symbols represent a chasm. If I try to move down there, I will basically fall down a couple of levels, possibly take some damage. These equal signs represent a bridge over the chasm. They are made out of rope. Very interesting stuff indeed. I haven't been noting items. Yes, the exclamation points are still potions, but this time we have these eighth notes representing scrolls. Something very different from the question marks that we've been dealing with so far. And this dense foliage I guess I can... It changes over time, because there was denser foliage, but I've been trampling on it, and therefore it's changed symbols. That's interesting. Lots of very... Brogue really prides itself on playing with environmental choices, I think, where you can change the environment and the environment shifts as you use it. I don't know if we're going to find one in this game, but there was a one of the possible wands is a wand of a wand of fireball. And if you cast a wand of fireball in an area with all of this foliage and fungus, that stuff will all catch on fire. And then the next time you go there, instead of all of this bright fungus, you'll see the same symbols, but now in shades of gray and brown and light orange to represent that it's ashes and it's burnt. Which I think is an interesting choice. Oh, we've entered the water. You can see how the entire color scheme changes to represent the fact that we're underwater. Let's do that again just to show you. I can technically survive here, but it's not going to be easy. And I have a chance of my inventory washing away every step that I do in there, so I'm going to avoid that, generally speaking. But there's definitely a lot of focus on color and the fact that you can have a palette represent a type instead of having a single color represent a type, which is an interesting choice, as I said. Anyway, as always, the upstairs and downstairs are represented by the downstairs are represented by greater than signs. So let's go down to the next level, and maybe we'll see something interesting. I hit something. What did I hit? Oh, that eel. Multiple eels. Uh-oh. Running away. First rule of roguelikes. You are always capable of running away, even when you don't think you are. I need to remember that. Anyway, lucky for us, we have here these bloodwort pods, which if we hit them, creates a cloud of healing spores. And the cloud is represented by, once again, changing background color. This time, flooding the area in these shades of red and then as it fades, it goes away. And that healed us in the process, which is a good thing. Let's kill that kobold. Grab more scrolls. More kobold. Oh, I now have a wand. Let's see what it does. And that wand was represented by a tilde instead of the normal / that I've seen, or backslash. Which ones are trying to remember which games use / and which ones use backslash, but it's consistent within each game, just I'm not remembering off the top of my head. What did that do? Wand of Beckoning. So we have this extensive use of tooltips, which I've already been using to some degree, but basically every item comes with its own tooltip, and we can learn more about that tooltip. We can learn more about the item pretty much exactly as we see it. This is a way of saying you don't need to have, you know, a list of spoilers open in the next window, as you almost certainly do in NetHack, as you may or may not have to in Atom, as you shouldn't necessarily in Crawl, because it does something similar but with a different implementation. I happen to like these systems of trying to give you as much information as you can within the game, while still encouraging you to try different things and still encouraging you to learn a lot. Anyway, so that one brought that monster close to me, which is kind of cool. I have another ring. Let's put on these rings. So I don't know what the aquamarine ring does. I know that this is a ring of clairvoyance, which means I can see just past my normal vision. And that's represented in Brogue by these green background areas I see that because of my clairvoyance. Oh, that's a bloat. I don't want to be near that. Throw. There. So bloats, once you kill them, release clouds of caustic gas, which is why I'm now running away. Let's grab those scrolls. Check if the other side is safe yet. No, it's not. Okay, now it's better. Grab, gold is represented this time by, asterisks instead of the normal $signs, which is an interesting choice. If I remember correctly, gold is purely score a measure of score in Brogue. there's no shops. There's a door key over there, which might unlock that locked door there. You also see that here's what I was talking about with different color schemes. So before, all of the foliage and such here was all various shades of green, light green to darker green. Now we have these orange and brown shades to represent dead versions of the above. Instead of having all of the regular foliage be one shade of green and all of the dead foliage be one shade of brown, we have these variations within the set, which I think is an interesting choice. Some might argue that doing so... That is a burning torch on the ground. Oh dear. And here's what I was talking about before with fire. So these are areas of billowing flames. These are areas of sputtering embers. All represented with this red-orange color scheme caused by that torch that fell down. This is bright white, or close to it. You see the colors are shifting as the area catches fire. Actually, I can just sit here and press Z over and over for you to watch what happens. There's areas of white and yellow and orange to represent this fire spreading across this area. And then they start turning gray and dark as they become ashes, like so. We'll actually come back there after we check out this locked door. Cool. So if I remember correctly, what these areas generally are is you can take one item of the set that you see. So there's plate armor, which I can't use yet because I'm not strong enough. A staff of lightning, which, yes, causes lightning bolts. Ring of stealth, which is pretty, gives us stealthiness. Leather armor. Staff of discord alters the perception of all creatures to think the target is their enemy. Strangers and allies alike will turn on an infected creature. Interesting. And a spear. I'm sure I have in here a potion of strength and other potions. I haven't tested any of them yet. I probably could increase my strength to at least 13. But I'm mostly interested in that Staff of Discord anyway, because it seems to be the most interesting thing here. So I'll grab that. And the cage is lower, so now I can't access those other items. And these things here are meant to be statues, represented by the ASCII. Fun fact, if you're a fairly recent Crawl fan who plays online, you recognize this symbol because it is part of the naming scheme of the new server, of the new North American server. It's not a beta. Anyway, so we came back here. It's been a couple of turns. There's still some fire, but mostly we have these piles of ashes in white and gray. All different shades, but all representing piles of ashes created from that foliage that burned out. Overall, you know, as I said, the thing to take from Brogue is that single colors, the one color equals one member of the class, perfect. Throw that. There we go. Can I get my darts back? Yes. It is not the case in Brogue. And while that might drive some people crazy, I find it immensely readable and honest. Not every blade of grass is the same shade. Not every, lake of water is going to look the same, and so on. So I think it works. I maybe not everyone will agree for me, but I think it's a pretty fantastic way to, I guess you could say, subvert the normal assumptions we make when we create an ASCII interface. More monkeys. Oh, dang it. There we go. That's better. And there's that plume of gas again. You can see it extending up through. The area. I want that scroll. Oh. I need to start using up some of these items. Obviously. There's another bloatwort pod. Here's more fungus. I want that staff. I guess let's try to drink a potion or two. I'm caught fire. I'm on fire. Oh dear. And the entire area around me has turned these shades of red and yellow and orange to represent the fact that I am dumb and thus on fire. And there's no water on this level. Can I save myself? Potion of life. Nice. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness. That almost turned very bad. Very fast. Can I grab? Okay. I'm still levitating and invisible, which I think is pretty amusing. And I think that covers this level. And honestly, I think I'm gonna call it here. I think we've seen plenty of Brogue so far, and what makes it an interesting subversion of the classical roguelike UI, I guess. And how it breaks the conventions of there. I'm hungry and I don't have food. I want food. Why am I not eating food? So yeah, I think we've fully explored what Brogue does differently and how, this isn't for everyone, I fully acknowledge that, but I think it's an interesting choice, and let me know what you think in the comments, I guess. Next time we'll do more subversions of the normal in roguelike ASCII choices, so look forward to that. Alright, thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time.